Hello, welcome back, and we are going to a different step, and I'm going to show you how we can place or fix or fit in a tie beam for our structure. Here you can see we have, it will stretch all the way to 60 meters as I had shared with you the measurements from grid lines. Now, I want to start off by just placing the tie beam, then create a connection. Then later on, we'll move to a different step on how we can place the vertical bracings. Now, let me come to steel, then pick on steel beam right there. So I'm going to place a tie beam here. So let me just snap on top there and snap on the other end there. Let me just bring this close so that I'll be able to snap on accurate position right there. So let me just snap right there. So if right click and click interrupt to just get off that command, and I want to give it an offset downward by maybe 400, 500. So I select on that, then right click and come to special move, then pick on linear. So once I've selected move, I'm going to the coordinate system here and the options tab, and I'll go straight to Z axis and I'll just key in maybe 500 right there and click move. So I'll be able to move down by 500. Now, I want to change this profile to a tube profile or a circular hollow section. So I'm going to double click on it. So then once I double click on it, I'll have an editor dialog box that will help me access the catalog for steel profiles. So in here, once I had double clicked that, I'll be able to see what type of profile I have in place. So in this particular case, I have IPE 300. So I'll click this I section or beam section symbol. So I'll go ahead and click on that. So that the moment I click on that, I'll be able to access the steel profile family, and I'll be able to pick on the right type of my preference. Now, let me just give it some time to load everything. Then I'll be able to just narrow down on that particular profile, and I'll pick it and use it. Now, you can see the IPE family here. So I'll just minimize that and probably minimize that once again and come to round tube, or just click on that and come to tubes here, or you can just click pipes, but I prefer tubes. So let me just scroll down and I'll pick 193 by 193.7 by 4 millimeter thick. So I'll go ahead and click select. So once I've selected that, you can see I have that profile or that profile highlighted here with all the properties. You can see the thickness, or the thickness is that, and the web is that, and the width is that, and the height is that. So I'll go ahead and click apply and give it an OK. So I have these in place. So the next thing I'm going to do is just to create a connection between the beam and the tube, and this between the tube and the column. So I'll pick on the right macro and gallery or under macro gallery here. So I'm going to use a bracing tool, a bracing macro here. So I'll pick on that and go to bolted gasket and pick on that. So I'm going to pick on the main member, then click on the tube as a secondary member, then right click like that. Once I've done so, I'm going to edit this further so that I don't use so much steel, so that I want to minimize on the usage so that I don't use this size of gasket. So once I've selected it like that, I'm going to just press letter M and enter on my keyboard to go further and modify this type of connection. Now let me just give it some time, and I'll have the editor dialog box in place, and I'll be able to customize that. So let's give it some time to bring it up. Here we are, and from here we want to customize this or add more settings on our connection here, and I have already my macro preset, and I can just go ahead and load that. So if I click load and click apply, I'll be able to see I have these in place. But that kind of is not the best thing I wanted to see. I can go ahead and change that and pick load and click apply that. So in this particular case, I have stiffeners top and bottom. And if I come to a figure, you'll be able to see all the settings that I had used previously to come up with that macro preset that I have just applied here. So if I come to parts, you can see if you need the top and bottom, the top and bottom, or left and right gusset plate here, you can always go ahead and check all this, and the gusset plate will appear. So let me just go ahead and click OK. So once I've clicked OK, I'm going again and apply the similar connection here. So I'm going to pick on that and pick the column and pick the tube and right click, and I'll be able to go back and just type letter M. And I forgot one thing. I would have just clicked use as a default connection, and I would have just applied it automatically to the rest of the connection. So once I've just select any part of that connection and press letter M on my keyboard and entered. So I'm just waiting for the editor dialog box to come up so that I'll be able to edit it further. So let it give some time to come up so that we can go ahead and edit that. Here we are, and I'm going to edit that by using my preload settings. Here I'm going to pick on that and click load and click apply, and we have that setting in place. So I've done so, and I have that in place. So remember, we want to apply this tie beam all the way to the full length of our structure. So prior to doing that, let me just go ahead and place vertical bracings here. And if I zoom close, you can see I had already placed some points here just to help me in placement of vertical bracings. And placement of these points is not something very difficult to do. You can as well do it yourself by just offsetting point. You define the location where you want to start placement of the vertical bracing. So this one I think is not very hard to do, and I just did that so that I cut down on time. So let me just come to vertical bracings here. If I come to vertical bracings, I'll pick on the vertical bracings, targeting the points that I had created before. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick on this particular point here, and once I've clicked on it, I'll zoom out and target this far end here and click on that. So I've created one vertical brace, and I want to add another one from that spot here and go all the way to this particular point here and select on that. So I'll zoom out and target another one from this particular point here and zoom out again and target the far end at the bottom end here. Let me just zoom out so that I'll be able to snap on this particular point that I had created before, just to guide me in placement of bracings. So let me just start another one from that spot and move out and target the other far end so that I'll be able to snap right at the bottom end here. So let me just bring it close and snap right there. So you'll notice one thing that if I zoom close to the center here, you'll be able to see there will be a problem in connecting these two, because that they're not laying back to back, and this will bring a total problem in connecting the two. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip them until each one of it sit on the back of each, so that the bolting connection will be easy to create connection between them. So let me just select on this, then press Ctrl Q and turn that like that. So if I come here also, I'll press Ctrl Q and turn that, and since this, if I shift this to this side, I'll be able to connect them, to mesh or lay the other one on the back of the other. So let me just press Ctrl E, and I'll be able to bring that to that. Let me just bring it to that, then select on that, then press Ctrl E once again, and I'll be able to lay them. You can see the laying, they are sitting back to back against each other, so the bolting will be very easy. So I'll be able to just place a bolt and connect the other end. So if I zoom out, I'll do the same thing to this one also. I'll be able to just select on this, then press Ctrl Q and turn that back to the other end, and press Ctrl Q here once again. Then press Ctrl E and take that behind to create a space. Then press Ctrl E once again, and this will come this way. So if I put a bolt here, I'll be able to create a nice connection instead of placing a gusset plate in between. So we just bolt them together. So what I'm going to do here is very simple. and I think that we can do in the next presentation, because I've just clocked some minutes that will not be able to give us enough time to elaborate further on how we can go ahead and create connection between the bracings and the columns. So let's meet then on the next presentation, and I hope you've gotten something here on how to create a tie beam here and create a connection right there, and how to mark out the positions of your vertical bracings and how to lay them out. So the next step is creating connection between the bracings, and how I can populate them all the way to all the way to the full length of our structure. So let me then bye bye.